Ling Tian was killed by Latiz as soon as he crossed the Dragon Ball world. Unexpected activation of divine-level eternal system after death. Being killed can earn rewards and become stronger. Latiz. Didn't you just die as a war scumbag? Billus. Isn't the god of the super saints alone? How could there be so many? Quan Wang. You will be my friend from now on. Chapter 1. Crossing the Dragon Ball Battle with 5 Stigs. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Upon waking up, Ling Tian found himself on a strange farm. Where is this? Whoosh. A shooting star streaks across the clear sky. Boom. With the loud explosion, the meteor fell to the ground, creating a huge deep crater. What fell down? Meteorite or UFO? Go take a look. Ling Tian leaned over cautiously. As my gaze approached, a white spherical machine appeared in the deep pit on the ground. Squeak. In Ling Tian's puzzled gaze, the door of the aircraft slowly opened, and then a figure walked out from inside. I saw the man in front of me with a burly figure, fierce eyes, and a strange outfit. He had long, fluffy black hair draped over his back, and a monkey tail-like decoration wrapped around his waist. At the position of his right eye, he is wearing a precision instrument resembling a monocle. 7 Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super. I don't know how many times Ling Tian has seen it, but at a glance, he recognized the man in front of him as Latiz. It is now the middle of the Dragon Ball period, and Latiz is invading Earth to search for Kakarot and attacking other planets together. He meowed me, why did I cross this world? I didn't get hit by a car, I didn't get struck by lightning, I didn't die, I didn't jump off a cliff, or anything like that. I just reviewed my study materials while sleeping at night, and he meowed me. Do you want to travel so casually now? Why are the people on this planet still alive? What is that guy Carrot doing? Latiz's body slowly rose from the deep pit, with a fierce light on his face and a cold voice coming from his mouth. Latiz lightly pressed the precision instrument at the corner of her eye. With a disdainful expression on his face, he sarcastically said, a scumbag with only 5 combat power, what garbage. As soon as she finished speaking, Latiz gathered an air bomb in her hand and threw it casually. The air bomb drew a perfect arc in the air and quickly flew towards Ling Tian. System. System. Are you there or not? Ling Tian's face was full of fear and he ran back, constantly calling out to the system. He didn't receive a response from the system and felt a chill in his heart, cursing at the unfairness of heaven. I have just crossed over to the Dragon Ball world, so if I don't know, I will. Boom. After a loud bang, Ling Tian still couldn't escape. The range of the air bomb was hit by the shock wave of the explosion and hit a rock pillar. Cough. Ling Tian spat out a mouthful of fresh blood, completely losing his vital energy. Latiz looked at Ling Tian's body and said, how could there be such a weak race? In that direction, there's a guy with strong combat power, is that Carrot? Latiz spoke and stepped on both feet, flying towards the sky. Shortly after Latiz left, Ling Tian, who had already died, suddenly heard a mechanical sound in his mind. Ding! The host successfully dies once and the system activation conditions are met. Ding! The divine level eternal system is being bound. Please wait for a moment. Ding! Binding successful. Now start reviving the host. 1 minute later. Wow! Ah! Ling Tian suddenly jumped up from the ground, panting heavily. Hoo, isn't I already dead? Ling Tian looked at his body and murmured as he looked around. Ding! Congratulations on the successful resurrection of the host. Now distribute death rewards. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill Qigong Wave. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill Dance in the Sky. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill, Chi Perception. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill, Turtle Sec Qigong Wave. Ding. Congratulations to the host for receiving the reward. 1600 Combat Power. Ding. Congratulations to the host for receiving the reward. Divine Fighting Skill. Ding. Congratulations to the host for receiving the reward. 5 Fairy Beans. Just as Ling Tian was puzzled, the sound of the system in his mind rang out again, directly startling Ling Tian. What kind of ghost? Ding. Host, please do not panic. I am a divine-level eternal system. Due to the host's death just now, the system has been successfully activated. The system explained to Ling Tian in its mind. I'll just say, as a traveler, how could I not have the golden finger, grandpa, and system? It turns out I have to die once to activate the system. This cost is a bit high. If you don't die, it means you won't be able to activate the system. After hearing the systematic explanation, Ling Tian couldn't help roast Ling Tian and asked, System. What functions do you have in the system? Ding. This system only has one function, which is that the more times the host dies, the stronger the host will be. The sound of machinery echoed in Ling Tian's mind. After listening to the introduction of the system, Ling Tian choked for a moment and then said angrily. Nima, the more times I die, the stronger I become. Do you hear that you're talking in human language? Ding. Firstly, this system is not human, so it does not speak human language. Secondly, the more times the host dies, the stronger it will become, and this system can infinitely resurrect you. Nothing. Infinite resurrection. After listening to the system explanation, Ling Tian said in shock. Is it so awesome? Of course, the prerequisite is that the host cannot commit suicide and can only be killed. The system prompted Ling Tian to say. I understand, infinite resurrection. I die thousands of times, even if it's the god of destruction, Billus, I can hold it with one hand. Ling Tian began to fall into endless fantasies. The system quickly interrupted Ling Tian's fantasy and said disdainfully. Host, please stay awake and don't daydream. The same person who dies thousands of times will not gain abilities or enhancements. The same person will receive a certain reward for killing the host 3 times before, but after 3 attempts, there will be no reward. Ling Tian awkwardly touched his head and said. Ha ha ha. I'm just joking, your system is not humorous at all. 3 times is not bad, it's better than 1. By the way. System. Can I view personal information? Ding. Host. Ling Tian bloodline. Earthling's age. 22 years old height. 178 centimeters skills. Perception of Qi, dancing in the sky, Qigong wave, turtle-style Qigong wave, divine-level fighting skills. Item. 5 Fairy Beans combat power. 1605, initially had 5 combat power, but was killed by Latiz and gained 1600 combat power. Puff. At the moment of seeing the combat power, I almost spat out a mouthful of old blood. The system, Battle 5 Scum, just needs to know, no special markings are needed. Now, it's also time to search for Sun Wukong. Ling Tian closed his eyes, his attention was very focused, and he began to feel everything around him. Suddenly, Ling Tian opened his eyes and turned back, staring straight ahead. With the help of the system, Ling Tian has learned to perceive the presence of Qi. And just ahead, he felt 3 powerful breaths. One of the breath is significantly stronger than the other 2, and the breath is fluctuating violently. It is obvious that these 3 energies are fiercely engaged in battle. I didn't expect Sun Wukong and Bick to have already started fighting against Latiz. After identifying the direction, he immediately used his dance technique to soar into the air and fly forward. The feeling of being able to fly is really enjoyable. Previously, Ling Tian envied birds that could freely soar in the sky, but now he can do it too. Hoo 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 hoo. Accompanied by the sound of breaking the wind, Ling Tian kept approaching the target. Chapter 2. Sun Wukong and Bick's Battle of Latiz. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. After flying for a few minutes, Ling Tian could clearly feel the increasing fluctuations in the air ahead. Quickly, he saw several figures. A person with a tall stature, green skin, and 2 tentacles on their head is the great demon king of Bick. The other person, dressed in an orange martial arts uniform and with a firm gaze, was obviously Sun Wukong. Shwa. Shwa. At the next moment, Sun Wukong and Bick teamed up to launch a fierce attack on Latiz. Bang! Bang! However, after just 2 or 3 rounds of confrontation, Latiz took off and kicked Sun Wukong and Bick in the chest with his own feet behind him. Sun Wukong and Bick flew backwards, quickly adjusting their bodies and charging towards Latiz again. Latiz rose into the sky, with 2 powerful energy bombs condensed in his hands. Shoo! Shoo! 2 powerful air bombs bombarded Sun Wukong and Bick. Damn it! Sun Wukong was greatly surprised and quickly avoided the invasion of the gas bomb. Boom! Bick's luck was not as good as before, and he couldn't avoid it. One arm was engulfed by this energy at that time. After landing, Sun Wukong looked up into the air. Fool, I'm behind you. Latiz's voice echoed from behind Sun Wukong. Ah. Sun Wukong was kicked away by Latiz and collapsed on the ground. Sun Wukong gritted his teeth and stood up from the ground, enduring the pain. Ah! Damn it! This bastard! Sun Wukong turned his head to look at Bick and asked, Bick, how are you doing? Oh. It hurts a bit. Bick smiled slightly and a weak sweat broke out on his face. But don't worry, even if I only have 1 arm left, I can continue to fight. Hee hee. Latiz sneered, it's really bad that 2 people fought together like this. But you will definitely die, it's just a matter of time. I need to gradually strengthen my attack. Sun Wukong and Bick murmured to themselves. If this continues, we won't be able to defeat Latiz. We need to find a way to catch his tail. I didn't expect his strength to be so far behind him. Humph. Latiz snorted coldly and spoke up. Anyway, you're going to die. Let me tell you something. The other 2 surviving Saians have much stronger combat power than me. Ha ha ha. Latiz burst out laughing and said to Sun Wukong and Bick. Now I understand how powerful the Saiyan people are. Unfortunately, it's too late. Damn it. The other 2 Saians have stronger power. What kind of realm is that? Bick said in shock. Sun Wukong was not sure if he was excited or afraid, and his body couldn't help but tremble. Bick asked, Sun Wukong, do you have any new tricks? Sorry. I didn't. Sun Wukong shook his head helplessly. Sun Wukong said, these past few years have been a period of time. I have been taking care of my children at home without much training or time to study new techniques. Bick smiled and said, I originally wanted to save some energy. I have been practicing diligently and have made new breakthroughs. Hey! What are you 2 sneakily talking about? Latiz shouted and rebuked loudly, not right. Why do I argue with ants so much? Latiz spoke up and urged, I'll tell you the truth. Your tactics are of no use to me at all. It's better to come over and die quickly. Sun Wukong, the bird, didn't even bother with Latiz, but turned his head and asked Bick. You said you have developed a new ultimate skill, is that true? It's true, Bick nodded confidently. Sun Wukong continued, is it possible to have only 1 arm left? Bick responded with a smile, "It's okay, it just takes some time to accumulate energy and work. First, you need to attract his attention alone and drag him down." Sun Wukong nodded and said, "I understand, but does your move have any effect on him?" Bick responded with a smile, "If even this move doesn't work, then it's impossible to defeat him. Originally, this move was intended to destroy you." Ha ha ha. Sun Wukong smiled and said, "Now, you have actually helped me a lot. Don't be too happy yet. If you defeat this guy, then it's you." Bick smiled slightly. "Humph. You can still laugh when you're dying," Latiz snorted coldly. "Okay, I'll go challenge him now." Sun Wukong's expression was solemn. Bick said, "You have to hold on." Shoo. Sun Wukong flew towards Latiz and launched a fierce attack on him. Bick placed his index and middle fingers of his right hand together and began to gather energy on his forehead, preparing to gather the magic-piercing light cannon. Bang! Bang! Sun Wukong had just fought with Latiz for 2 or 3 rounds when he was beaten by Latiz. I saw Latiz kick Sun Wukong and kick him out. Sun Wukong rolled a few somersaults on the ground and quickly flew into the sky. His palms closed, forming a calyx shape. Then he placed his calyx hand on his waist, and a bright light appeared between his palms, emitting a dazzling light. Drop. Drop. Latiz's detector made a loud noise. Not good. His combat power is constantly improving. His combat power is 924. Will concentrating his energy at one point enhance his combat effectiveness? Latiz seemed to suddenly realize something and looked at Bick on the side. Drop. 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 The combat power of this guy here is also increasing by 660. 780, 920. It's constantly growing. Latiz's face turned a bit ugly. At this point, Sun Wukong had already condensed his energy. Sun Wukong pushed his calyx-shaped hand forward, and the Qigong wave bombarded Latiz. Gui Pai Qigong wave. Latiz quickly dodged the attack of the Qigong wave. However, Sun Wukong immediately controlled the Qigong wave and threw it at Latiz again. Pop. Latiz made a magnificent turn and grabbed the flying Qigong wave. Boom. The Qigong wave experienced a violent explosion. The smoke dissipated and Latiz appeared unscathed. Give it back to you. Latiz casually threw an air bomb towards Sun Wukong in the air. Bang. Sun Wukong was hit head-on by an air bomb and fell from the air. Latiz quickly charged forward, his fist aimed at Sun Wukong's head, trying to kill him with a single blow. Go to hell with me. Damn it, it's you. At this point, Bick had already gathered the magic Guan light killer cannon. What? Latiz looked in the direction of Bick. Drop. Combat power 1330. He concentrated all his energy at his fingertips, so it's not good that they can freely control their combat power. Magic Guan kill cannon. Bick waved his big hand forward and a purple-red spiral flame shot fiercely towards Latiz's body. Shwa. Latiz's face turned pale, and at this critical moment, he quickly dodged. Anyway, Latiz's shoulder was also rubbed against. Latiz's shoulder armor has been knocked off, and there is still blood oozing from his shoulders. Bick was completely stunned. He actually managed to dodge. This guy is really amazing. He can even dodge this. Being able to damage my armor indicates that your move just now was very powerful. If you were hit head-on, you would definitely be killed. Latiz also felt lingering fear at this moment. I didn't hit. It's troublesome now. Bick was completely disheartened. I can't spare you. The game ends here. Latiz's face showed endless killing intent. Chapter 3. Wukong and Bick's defeat. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Originally, Latiz only wanted to treat these two people as two little mice and have fun playing with them. Who would have thought that these two little mice almost killed my cat? Latiz suddenly felt a sense of crisis. If I keep playing like this, I might end up being played to death. No, I need to kill them immediately to avoid long dreams at night. Latiz said coldly, I will make you disappear in an instant. As he spoke, Latiz raised his hand and was about to kill Bick here. At this moment, Latiz suddenly felt his tail tighten, as if someone had pinched it. What? Latiz's face changed dramatically. Bick was also stunned for a moment and looked at Sun Wukong, who appeared behind Latiz. Hee, you're so careless. I caught your tail. Sun Wukong smiled and tightly grasped Latiz's tail. When were you? Latiz was completely powerless and knelt to the ground at the time. Sun Wukong shouted loudly, Bick, hurry up. Do the trick just now again. Ah. Okay. Bick immediately reacted and brought his index and middle fingers of his right hand together again, placing them on his forehead to start accumulating energy. Well done. Sun Wukong, you must hurry up. If you use this move again, it will reach its limit. Carrot, do you want to kill your only brother? Latiz began playing emotional cards. Sun Wukong was stunned for a moment and shouted angrily. Do villains like you deserve to be my brother? You even want to kill my child? Latiz said, I won't kill him. I have sincerely regretted it. I want to leave this planet honestly. Bick loudly advised, don't be fooled. Sun Wukong, don't listen to his sweet words, he would never do this. Latiz said with a sincere expression once again. Please. Please believe me. Brother, I admit what I did just now was too much. I will definitely keep my promise and leave the earth. Sun Wukong was a little soft-hearted for a moment. Bick shouted, Fool, don't let go of your tail. This is his scheme. Latiz pleaded loudly, Please, Carrot. Trust me. After all, Sun Wukong's heart softened. With a gentle release of his hand, the tightly held tail slipped out of his grasp. Bick shouted angrily, Sun Wukong. This idiot. Is it so easy to fall for it? He. After Latiz's tail was released, he smiled lightly and punched Sun Wukong in the chest with his backhand. Ah. Sun Wukong spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground. Bang. Bang. Latiz rushed forward and gave Sun Wukong a fierce beating. Ha. Latiz burst out laughing and then mocked Sun Wukong. A fool like you is really rare. You obediently fell into my trap. You really can't become an excellent warrior. You're so despicable. Sun Wukong gritted his teeth. I'm different, I'm a first-class warrior. I can kill my own brothers without hesitation, Latiz said with a smile. Do you want to see it? Speaking, Latiz increased the force under his feet. Ah. Sun Wukong let out a mournful scream. Latiz did not immediately kill Sun Wukong, but instead tormented him bit by bit. Who let you catch my tail? Ah. Sun Wukong at Latiz's feet let out waves of mournful cries. Drop. At this moment, Latiz's detector made a sound. What's the situation? Is there anyone else around here? Latiz hesitated for a moment. With a bang, Sun Wukong directly penetrated the spaceship and burst out from inside. Seeing this scene, Latiz was immediately stunned. Bick was shocked and said, This is Sun Wukong's son. Wufan. Sun Wukong was also stunned for a moment, looking at Sun Wufan running out with a puzzled expression on his face. What's going on? This little devil. Latiz's face became increasingly ugly. Woo. Sun Wufan sobbed, tears streaming down his eyes. Sun Wukong said weakly, Wufan, run quickly. Get out of here. Drop. 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 Battle. Combat power. Combat power 1307. After seeing Sun Wufan's combat prowess, Latiz was stunned and a cold sweat quickly slipped off his face. Sun Wufan shouted loudly, "Don't you bully my dad." After saying these words, Sun Wufan turned into a golden light and suddenly collided with Latiz's body. With a loud bang, Sun Wufan's head hit Latiz's chest heavily. Latiz took several steps back and almost fell to the ground. Meanwhile, Latiz also felt the armor on his chest shatter directly. Wufan. You. Sun Wukong was also dumbfounded. Ah. Dad. Sun Wufan regained his senses and showed a bewildered expression on his face. Sun Wukong quickly asked with concern, Wufan, are you okay? This. You little devil. Latiz clenched her fist. Now the detector shows that his combat power is only 1. With the ups and downs of his emotions, there has been such a huge change. Pop. Latiz stepped forward and slapped Sun Wufan hard, knocking him unconscious. This despicable little devil, that was quite fierce just now. If we had to do this again I might have hung up. How come this guy's combat power is so strong? No, I need to quickly extinguish him. If he continues to develop like this, the consequences are simply unimaginable. With this thought in mind, Latiz walked step by step towards Sun Wufan, intending to kill him here. Sun Wukong shouted sternly, Hey, what are you doing? Stop it quickly, you're not allowed to harm him. Latiz clenched his fist and turned his head to sneer at Sun Wukong. Do you want to say he's still a child? It's really a joke. That child has more powerful combat power than you. When he doesn't know how to use this combat power, I must destroy it. But you don't have to worry, you can meet soon, of course, in another world. Ha ha ha. Latiz smiled and walked towards Sun Wufan again. Latiz is trying to get rid of the little ghost in front of him with just one kick. Hoo hoo. A sudden sound of breaking the wind echoed in Latiz's ear, and then a black shadow flashed before his eyes. Latiz, who had not yet figured out the situation, was directly knocked away by Ling Tian. Latiz stood up and looked at the man who suddenly appeared, with a frightened expression on his face. Latiz shouted loudly, This is impossible. Isn't this scumbag human just killed by me? What's going on? Is it not completely dead? Latiz angrily said, You human, you didn't kill me just now. How dare you come and harm me now? Take your life. Latiz's killing intent was settled, he bent down, quickly charged forward, and his right fist vigorously shot forward. He wants a punch to deal with this overconfident human. However, the situation did not develop as expected by Latiz. Bang! Ling Tian, without any hesitation, extended his left palm and directly took Latiz's powerful fist. Latiz's fist was firmly grasped by Ling Tian, unable to move. Even if Latiz tried his best, he couldn't pull out his right fist. Chapter 4. Quickly kill Latiz. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Latiz has just arrived on Earth with a combat power of 1500, and has been fighting against Sun Wukong and Bick for a long time. His combat power is still around 900, and Ling Tian has a combat power of 1605. Now, he has been completely controlled by Ling Tian. At this moment, Latiz's face was full of disbelief. How could it be? Isn't his combat power only 5? Why can he easily withstand my full blow and instantly counter me? Immediately afterwards, a deep sense of fear penetrated throughout Latiz's body. Under the oppression of Ling Tian, Latiz was already feeling a bit suffocated. Now Latiz realizes that the person in front of him is definitely not the same scumbag as before, and his strength is far superior to him. How much combat power do you have? Latiz couldn't help but ask. Ling Tian said calmly, you can open the detector and take a look, then you'll know. 1605 Latiz looked at the numbers on the detector and was once again shocked. If it were when I first came to Earth, I could still compete with it, but now I am completely no match. Now, Latiz has finally discovered that all warriors on Earth have a skill, which is hidden strength. You fought so hard just now, then I'll let you feel the feeling of being hanged. After Ling Tian finished speaking, he released his left hand, bent down, and directly punched Latiz in the lower abdomen. Ah! Latiz screamed heartily. His mouth was wide open, almost even his bile was knocked out by Ling Tian. Now he can feel that his entire body's bones are about to shatter. Bang! Ling Tian did not stop, but kicked towards Latiz's lower abdomen, and then his right hand condensed a qigong wave, hitting Latiz. Latiz flew backwards in an instant. Boom! He collided with a huge mountain peak, and with a tremendous impact, the peak was directly smashed into a human-shaped pit. With a loud bang, Latiz fell from the pit and landed heavily on the ground. The current Latiz aura is very weak and has completely lost its combat ability. Ling Tian smiled and said, Latiz, does this feeling feel good? Latiz was furious, provoked but helpless. He now feels like he has really come to the gates of hell. As long as Ling Tian hits again, he will definitely bid farewell to this world. Even though Latiz is a cold-blooded Saiyan, he still feels very scared when facing death. He now chooses to give up his dignity and begins to beg for mercy from Ling Tian. Please, let me go. Latiz pleaded with all his might. Ling Tian looked coldly at Latiz and said, if I let you go, do you think it's possible? Seeing that his plea for mercy was hopeless, Latiz broke the jar and said, my detector has communication function, and the other two Saiyan people are always monitoring this. They will definitely come to eliminate you and seek revenge for me. They only need 1 year to come to Earth. At that time, you will die even worse than me. Ha ha ha. Latiz has completely fallen into madness. Ling Tian raised his arms and slowly gathered his energy. Suddenly, a burst of light flashed through his hands, and all his internal energy gathered in the palms of his hands. Gui Pai Qigong Wave. Ah! I only heard Latiz scream in agony. Boom! The smoke dissipated, and a huge deep pit appeared on the ground. Latiz was nowhere to be seen, and everything was gone. The two of them tried their best, but the enemy they couldn't defeat was solved in 2 or 3 rounds. Sun Wukong and Bick looked at Ling Tian with a shocked expression on their faces. Ling Tian picked up Sun Wufan and walked slowly towards the disheveled Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong said gratefully, thank you for saving Wufan, Bick, and me. Thank you so much. Ling Tian replied, it's just a small gesture. Ling Tian took out 2 fairy beans from his pocket and handed them to Sun Wukong. You have such a serious injury, let's eat it first. Xian Do. How could you have Xian Do? Sun Wukong had a puzzled expression on his face, but he didn't ask much. He struggled to put the fairy bean into his mouth. Squeak. After finishing the fairy beans, Sun Wukong, who had a very weak breath, immediately became lively. Shoo! He jumped up and jumped into the air. Sun Wukong excitedly said, I feel like my whole body is full of strength now. Immediately after, Sun Wukong sent another fairy bean to Bick. Sun Wukong handed the fairy beans to Bick and said, Bick, you can eat this. It's a good thing. Bick naturally knew the function of fairy beans and chewed them a few times before swallowing them. Bick, who cannot move his whole body, will directly restore his peak. Immediately afterwards, Bick bent down and gritted his teeth to gather energy. Ah! Bick shouted loudly. His broken arm has actually grown back. Sun Wukong looked at Bick's newly grown arm and exclaimed in shock, Bick, how powerful your move is. Even if your arm is broken, it can grow out. This ability is really strong, Ling Tian murmured to himself. If the core area is still there, the body can regenerate infinitely, but it requires a large amount of energy consumption, which is the ability of the Namek people. As long as the chip in the brain is still there, the artificial human Shalu can be resurrected and regenerated infinitely. The demon Buo also has one cell that can be resurrected and regenerated. At this moment, Sun Wukong and Bick flew towards Ling Tian. Sun Wukong bowed and thank you again for your help to us. If you need any help in the future, feel free to come to me. Ling Tian responded with a smile, okay. That's all for your help. Sun Wukong asked, hello, can you tell us your name? Ling Tian smiled and said, I've forgotten to introduce myself for so long. My name is Ling Tian. Ling Tian, I see that you are not very old, yet you have such strong strength. This is the first time I know that there are hidden powerhouses like you on Earth. Sun Wukong pleaded with Ling Tian. Ling Tian, I get excited when I see a strong person. Can you give me a chance to have a little sparring? You are not my opponent yet. You should work hard to cultivate. First, improve your own strength. Ling Tian declined Sun Wukong's request. Ling Tian continued, you should have heard what Latiz said earlier. In a year's time, there will be 2 Saiyan people coming to Earth, and their strength will be several times that of Latiz. With your current strength, it's impossible for you to be their opponent. You should practice well this year. Only by improving your strength can you protect the Earth and your family well. Okay. I must strengthen my cultivation. Sun Wukong now was full of fighting spirit. Although Bick didn't say anything, his eyes were full of fighting spirit. Sun Wukong sincerely said, Ling Tian, can you help me cultivate? Your strength is so strong, perhaps you can make my cultivation more effective with half the effort. Sorry, I have my own business to do, why don't you find someone else to practice with? Ling Tian once again rejected Sun Wukong. Ling Tian refused Sun Wukong because he knew nothing at all, and his skills and combat power were both rewarded by the system. Moreover, one's own system can become stronger even after death. It's not advisable to directly ask Sun Wukong to kill oneself. Instead, let Sun Wukong find someone else to practice. Upon hearing Ling Tian's response, Sun Wukong couldn't help feeling a bit disappointed. Chapter 5. Everyone's Plan. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. After thinking for a moment, Ling Tian spoke up. Wukong, although I cannot help you cultivate, you can ask the Heavenly God. The Heavenly God should know where to better cultivate. You can also call Bulma and repair Latiz's spaceship to create a gravity chamber. With a gravity chamber for cultivation, you will definitely achieve twice the result with half the effort. Gravity chamber, in the original work, Sun Wukong went to Namek to cultivate for a few days, with a normal combat power of 8,000 reaching 90,000 combat power of Namek. The cultivation strength of gravity chamber will increase quickly. Sun Wukong is not dead, and I don't know if the Heavenly God will take him to the Realm King's place for cultivation. It's better for Sun Wukong to ask himself. Dad. At this moment, Sun Wufan woke up. After seeing his father, Sun Wufan tightly hugged him. Sun Wukong comforted and said, Wufan, be good. We are safe now. Sun Wukong looked at Ling Tian and said to Wufan. It was Ling Tian who saved us. Thank you, Uncle Ling Tian. Sun Wufan has been very polite since childhood. Just as everyone was about to leave, a loud noise came from the sky. Buzz. Everyone looked up and found that it was a helicopter. Wukong. Wukong. From the window in the helicopter, a beautiful woman with light blue hair and a shiny bald head without a nose protruded. The two of them were Bulma, who was searching for the Dragon Ball with Wukong when they were children, and Klin, who was practicing under the guidance of the Turtle Immortal. Bang! The helicopter landed on the ground and 3 people walked down, including Burma, Turtle Fairy, and Clin, followed by an old turtle. "It's great that you're all fine." Clin ran up to Sun Wukong and excitedly said. "Wukong, where has that despicable Saiyan gone?" Sun Wukong touched his head and said, "The Saiyan people have been eliminated by Ling Tian." "Great. The Saiyan are already dead." "No, that Saiyan was not killed by you and Bick, Wukong." "Ling Tian, who is it?" Clin felt something was wrong. Sun Wukong pointed at Ling Tian and smiled, saying, "Latiz, he was defeated by the strong man next to me." "He." Everyone was puzzled. Although this young man is tall and handsome, his aura is not strong. How could he possibly have the ability to defeat the powerful Latiz? "Wukong, what's going on?" Clin was very puzzled. Sun Wukong did not intend to continue playing tricks, but instead told the whole story. Everyone exclaimed in surprise. Burma said with an incredulous expression on her face. "I didn't expect there to be someone stronger than you, Wukong, in this world." The turtle immortal sighed and said, "There are people outside of us, there are heavens outside of us." At this moment, Sun Wukong said, "In 1 year, 2 Saiyan people will invade the earth. I am going to the heavenly god's place to practice now. Do any of you want to go with me?" Clin shook his head and said, "I'll go back to the turtle immortal house to practice." Bick snorted coldly, turned his head to one side, and decisively refused. He and the heavenly god were originally one, but their personalities were completely different, so Bick naturally wouldn't choose to go to the heavenly god temple. "I also have my own plan." Ling Tian shook his head. Ling Tian looked at the joyful crowd and said goodbye. "I'm leaving first, everyone. See you in a year." Ling Tian, goodbye. Sun Wukong waved his hand and shouted loudly. "Next time we meet, you must have a fight with me." Shoo. Ling Tian flew straight towards the distance, by the way. Sun Wukong patted his head and suddenly remembered what Ling Tian had just told him. Quickly asked Burma to transform the spacecraft into a gravity chamber. Burma thought this idea was very good and immediately agreed to it. "Okay, Wukong, I'll go back and study it. I'll notify you when it's ready. Then I can only go to the heavenly god temple first and find the immortals." Sun Wukong didn't know when Bulma would be able to complete the gravity chamber, so he opened his mouth and shouted loudly. "Jiduyan." Upon hearing the call of the somersault cloud, he immediately approached Sun Wukong. "Burma, Grandpa Gui Xian, Clin. I'm leaving, goodbye everyone." Sun Wukong sat on the somersault cloud, waved his hand, and rushed towards the direction of the heavenly temple. Bulma looked at Sun Wufan and said helplessly. "Why didn't Wukong bring Wufan with him?" "Forget it, let's take you home." Sun Wufan was about to walk up to Bulma's side when he was grabbed by Bick. "Ah! What are you doing? Let go of me!" Sun Wufan almost cried out. Sun Wufan was about to break free from Bick's constraints when he was knocked unconscious with a single slap. Bick said coldly, "Sun Wufan, I'll take it with me for now. See you in a year." Everyone looked at Bick in shock. "What do you want to do with Wufan?" Clin touched his shiny bald head and pointed at Bick, saying. "I understand. Are you going to eat Wufan?" Bick responded, "How could it be?" Bick explained to several people. Sun Wufan, this little devil, with just a little training, can become a powerful warrior. 1 year later, he will be useful when those 2 Saiyan people attack Earth. So I will start training him. Burma, Turtle Fairy, and Clin hesitated and compared them to Ku. But this can't be. At least ask Wukong or his mother first. Bick angrily said, "It's too late. Stop talking nonsense, otherwise I'll kill you all. In a year, I will take him to your house." Shoo. Bick grabbed Sun Wukong in his left hand and took off in the air. Burma packed the spacecraft with a universal capsule and turned his head to say to Clin and the Turtle Fairy. I'm going home to make a gravity chamber. Please tell Chi-Chi the news about Wukong. What should I do? Chi-Chi will definitely get angry. Clin thought of the scene where Kiki was angry, and a cold sweat broke out from his body. Think about it and forget it. Let's talk about it in a year. The gods in the temple of the heavenly gods were already observing when Latiz invaded Earth. As soon as Sun Wukong saw the heavenly god, he spoke up. Heavenly god, the companion of the Saiyan will invade the Earth in a year. Do you have any place to practice? With our current combat effectiveness, we have no way to compete with them. The heavenly god listened to Wukong's account and said he already knew. Wukong, I would recommend you to practice at Lord Jiawang's place. Seize the opportunity yourself. The heavenly god said to Bobo beside him, Bobo, go and inform Yamu T and those people to come to the temple. I will personally guide them in their cultivation. Bobo responded expressionlessly, okay, heavenly god. Everyone began preparing to resist the invasion of the Saiyan people on Earth a year later. After the heavenly god finished speaking, he took Sun Wukong and entered the underworld. Ling Tian, who had been flying northward, finally arrived at the far north. Ling Tian was still wearing the thin clothes of summer, and his body was shivering with the cold. He resisted the cold currents in the far north with his own strength, and he will train here for a long time. While practicing chi refining, Ling Tian did not neglect the polishing of his body and continued to exercise his physical fitness every day. Running with heavy loads on the cold snow-capped mountains, pushing icebergs for swimming, diving into the seabed to polish one's body. From the initial 1200 meters to the current 15,000 kilometers, I died several times in the middle, and the feeling of being directly crushed by water is indescribable. Fortunately, there is a system resurrection. After 9 months of unremitting effort and training, the physical strength has also reached a certain level, and the combat power has skyrocketed. System View Personal Properties. Ding. Host. Ling Tian Age. 22 years old. Bloodline. Earthling Skills. Perception of Qi, Qigong Wave, Dancing Sky Technique, Turtle Style Qigong Wave, Divine Level Fighting Skills. Item. 3 Fairy Beans. Combat Power. 12,620. Chapter 6. The Arrival of the Saians. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the other side. At Mr. Bobo's notification, Yamucha, Kellen, Tianjin Fan and others arrived at the temple one after another. Under the guidance of the gods and waves, basic training was carried out, and combat effectiveness was significantly improved. 1 month later. Burma also handed over the gravity chamber to Clin and brought it to the temple for several people to use. 100 times gravity. After completing the guidance of the heavenly god, everyone engaged in daily sparring and training in the gravity chamber, greatly improving their combat effectiveness once again. In a wilderness. After completing a 6-month survival challenge, Bick officially began training Sun Wukong. In the underworld. After experiencing numerous hardships, Sun Wukong also arrived at the Star of the Realm King. After telling a few not-so-funny jokes to the Star of the Realm King, he successfully stayed there to practice. Time passed day by day, and soon a year passed. Everyone's strength has made significant progress, and now everyone is waiting for the Saiyan people to come to Earth. After unremitting efforts, everyone's combat power has greatly improved. Ling Tian. 12620 Combat Power, Clin. 4720 Combat Power, Yamu Cha. 4368 Combat Power, Tianjin Fan. 5040 Combat Power, Dumplings. 2430 Combat Power, Yachi Luo Bei. 2789 Combat Power, Bick. 3500 Combat Power, Sun Wukong. 2800 Combat Power, Sun Wukong. 8,000 combat power. Bick and Sun Wufan did not practice in the gravity chamber, just like the original work. One day, two spacecraft appeared in outer space, flying rapidly towards Earth. Two spacecraft looked like two fireballs from a distance. Shoo! Shoo! Passing through the atmosphere, two Saiyan spacecraft swiftly descended from the sky. Boom! The spacecraft was in the air, passing through two golden arcs and crashing directly into a city. The smoke dissipated and only two huge pits appeared on the ground. The residents in the city were all stunned. What's going on? What thing fell from the sky? Is it a meteorite? It's a round thing. Wow, really? There's still one over here. GA. The spaceship hatch opened and Vegeta walked out from inside. It's a person. Someone walked out of it. Humph. Vegeta looked coldly at the humans around her. The next moment, Nappa also came out of the spaceship and flew to the side of Vegeta. Who are they? Aliens. Both of them can fly. The onlookers of Vegeta and Nappa are discussing their origins. Is this the Earth? Is the environment pretty good? Vegeta looked around with an endless smile on her face. I'll say hello to these guys first. Nappa chuckled lightly and suddenly lifted his hand up. Suddenly, a powerful energy burst out. Boom boom. At the next moment, with Nappa as the center, all the buildings around were immediately flattened. A city just disappeared like this. Ha ha ha. My greetings seem too warm. Nappa's smile appeared. Nappa, you're going too far. Vegeta snorted. If we destroy this planet too severely, we won't be able to sell it for a high price. First find the person with the strongest combat power, he should be the killer of Latiz. Vegeta pressed the detector and began to detect the combat power on this planet. Vegeta, something's wrong. There are more than one or two reactions when the combat power exceeds 1,000. How could this be like this on this planet? Nappa also activated the detector, and when he saw the numbers on it, he was a little surprised. Nappa pointed in one direction and said. Vegeta, we found them. Over here. These two guys who are together have the strongest reaction. Vegeta and Nappa quickly flew towards the distance. Nappa laughed and said, ha ha ha. That's great. The gravity on this planet is so small, it's really convenient for us to move. Vegeta and Nappa landed on Earth, and at the moment they appeared, Ling Tian Fan, Yamu, Bick, and others immediately sensed their breath. Here they are. They're planning to come to us. Bick clenched his fists, ready for battle. Yes. Sun Wufan nodded solemnly. Bick and Sun Wufan are located in the mountainous area. Bick has already taken off his weight-bearing clothes. Bick said to Sun Wufan, there's nothing to be afraid of. We're much stronger than a year ago. Yes. Sun Wufan still felt a little nervous. Something's getting closer over there. Bick suddenly became alert. And here, someone has also come over. Is it a Saiyan? Isn't it just two Saiyan people? Sun Wufan panicked. Shwa. At this moment, Ling fell from the sky. Is it a Saiyan? Sun Wufan was startled. Long time no see, Bick. Ling smiled and greeted Bick. Bick looked at the small bald head in front of him and said in dissatisfaction. So it's you, what are you doing here? Do you also want to come and challenge the Saiyan people? Yes, I have also worked hard to cultivate, Ling nodded. That means there are other idiots who will also come here, Bick chuckled lightly. Ling smiled bitterly and said, yes. Everyone will come. I'm the closest here, so I arrived first. Ling said in his heart, this damn Bick is calling us fools. I used to be unable to beat you, so you can say whatever. Now, after hard work and cultivation, I have surpassed you. Let's first solve the Saiyan people before we can talk. Sun Wukong suddenly had a flash of inspiration in his mind and said to Clin. I remember, you're from the Guisian people. Clin patted Sun Wukong's shoulder and said with a smile. Yes, my name is Clin. You are really strong. You are exactly the same as Wukong when he was young. Sun Wukong scratched his head and said with a smile, Dad often talks about you, saying that you are very small but powerful. Clin snorted and responded with a black face. It's ridiculous to say I'm small. He thinks he's really tall. Clin asked, however, you must have endured a lot of hardship practicing with people like Bick. Sun Wukong answered seriously, Uncle Bick, he is a good person. Bick said coldly, stop chatting, they have already arrived. Clin and Sun Wukong looked up and saw two people floating in mid-air. These two people both have tails and wrap them around their waists, wearing clothing very similar to Latiz. Above the sky, Vegeta and Naba were also looking down at the three people below. Ha ha ha. Naba smiled and said, there's another guy, 3 people in total. Kakarot, that guy, isn't actually on the scene, and I don't know why he went. Vegeta chuckled lightly and said, they seem to have been prepared long ago. It's possible that the lower-level warrior Kakarot will appear as the last trump card. Let's go down. The two fell from the sky and landed opposite Bick and others. Vegeta smiled and asked, it seems like you can't wait anymore, can you? Not bad, that's right. Clin looked at the two Saiyan people in front of him, full of war intent. Bick asked, before the battle, let me ask you, what is the purpose of coming to Earth? Vegeta asked in reverse. Where have Carrot, that trash, and the person who killed Latiz gone? Naba pointed at Bick and said, Vegeta, that person seems to be a Namek. Perhaps, no wonder Latiz was defeated by them. Chapter 7. Highlighting moments of Yamu T. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Vegeta looked at the three of them and said coldly. You guys, quickly hand over the methods that can control combat effectiveness. Drop drop drop. Combat power 9811-220-1083, you three idiots, you still want to compete with us for this little combat power. Naba sneered. He had already gained a clear understanding of the strength of the three individuals through the detector. Vegeta cursed at Naba. Naba, are you a pig? We came to Earth to learn this method of controlling combat effectiveness. You can also use a detector to check the values. Hurry up and remove the detector. Their combat effectiveness will continue to improve with the battle, and the values on the detector are unreliable, sometimes even affecting their judgment. Vegeta, you're right. Naba nodded and also took off the detector. That waste of Latiz was defeated carelessly because he believed too much in the detector's numbers. Humph. Vegeta snorted coldly and looked at Bick, Sun Wukong, and Clin. Surprisingly, you haven't planned to hand over the method of controlling combat effectiveness yet. Since that's the case, let them see our strength. Naba, there should be 6 cultivator seeds left. Plant them together. Naba smiled and said, ha ha ha. Vegeta, you're really interested. Cultivating people. What is that? Kling and others looked puzzled. Naba pulled out a small bottle from behind. Pop. Naba poked 6 holes in the ground with his fingers, poured the seeds inside, and poured special liquid. Cluck cluck. Suddenly, the soil on the ground loosened and 6 green-looking aliens emerged from inside. Clin said with a disdainful expression, "Ah. It's really disgusting." Great, your target is those 3 people. Teach them a hard lesson. Vegeta gave orders to 6 cultivators. Pop pop pop. At this moment, Tianjin rice, Yamu tea, and dumplings fell from the sky and landed beside Clin and others. Sorry. We're late, Yamcha smiled. Clin excitedly said, Yamcha. I didn't expect you to come too. Surprisingly, there are a few more helpers. Naba was somewhat surprised. Vegeta sneered, they're all a bunch of trash. Hee, there are exactly 6 people, that's really interesting. It's equal to the number of cultivators. Vegeta suddenly became interested. Vegeta smiled and said, that's really great. How about the 6 of you playing against our minions? Let's play the game together. Bick shouted angrily, what game are you playing? You bastards, stop beating around the bush and get real with me now. Bick, don't get angry yet. Isn't that good? It's just enough to wait for Wukong to come over. Ling quickly dissuaded Bick. Okay, let me go on stage this time and show you the achievements of my cultivation during this period. Tianjin Rice said and immediately stepped forward. Ha ha ha. If he knew how powerful the cultivator was, he would definitely be scared out of his wits. Naba laughed heartily. Vegeta didn't smile, feeling that this three-eyed person seemed quite powerful. Cultivators may not necessarily be his opponents. Vegeta instructed, then start with this guy, remember, give me a good fight. Don't underestimate the enemy. The first cultivator, step forward. Suddenly, a fierce battle broke out between the cultivator and Tianjin Rice. I saw Tianjin Fan slapping it with a fierce palm and throwing the cultivator upside down. After the cultivator lands, their head splits in half and sprays out a corrosive liquid. Tianjin Fan quickly dodged over. Bang! Tianjin Fan took the initiative and hit the head of the cultivator heavily with his elbow. Ah! The cultivator let out a mournful cry and fell to the ground on the spot. Naba was stunned. These cultivators are almost as strong as Latiz. Why is it so disrespectful? Except for Sun Wufan and Bick, everyone's strength is much higher than in the original work, and cultivators can easily solve it. Vegeta looked at the cultivator who had been knocked away by Tianjin Rice, her index and middle fingers together, and pointed towards the cultivator's void. Bang! Accompanied by a muffled sound, the cultivator was torn apart on the spot, and his body was completely shattered. Bick and others present were all stunned. What a cruel person. Ling couldn't help but tremble. Bick's face also broke out in a cold sweat. That Saiyan instantly shattered the monster to pieces, it was a terrifying destructive force. Naba also felt a little confused. Vegeta, why did you kill him? Vegeta said angrily, keeping him is just a waste of time. He won't win. The cultivator underestimated the enemy from the beginning. I said I would do my best to fight, but he turned a deaf ear to my words. The remaining cultivators were trembling with fear and dared not be careless. Vegeta asked, who's next? Naba ordered, we must defeat them this time. Don't embarrass us, do you hear me? One of the cultivators stepped forward. Okay, let me do it this time. Ling also stepped forward. Let me do it. The game should also be over, Yamcha smiled and stopped Ling, standing up first. Ling called out, Yamcha, let me go. Yamu said, Ling, let me do it. I'll just show you my recent cultivation achievements. You come. Ling saw that Yamu had been insisting and could only give up the opportunity. Yamu stands in opposition to cultivators. At the next moment, Yamu and the cultivators' figures shook and suddenly disappeared. Bang bang. Both of them are moving at high speed and launching fierce attacks on each other. It's gone. Sun Wufan exclaimed in surprise. Fool, the two of them are moving at high speed. Please sense their breath well. Everyone except you can see it, Bick instructed. Sun Wufan suddenly realized. Quickly, Yamu and the cultivators fought from the earth to the air. Boom! A powerful Qigong wave suddenly condensed in Yamucha's hands, hitting the cultivator at the time. The cultivator was hit by a powerful Qigong wave, and white smoke emanated from his body. It's done again. Naba was speechless. When did cultivators become so incompetent? Pop. Yamu fell to the edge of the small pit where the cultivator was located, and as he fell to the ground, he was already a powerless cultivator. Yamcha smiled and said, "These monsters are not as powerful as you imagine. Let's join the remaining 4 and I can take them all away alone." You underestimated the enemy this time, Vegeta smiled. What? Yamcha paused for a moment. Shwa. I saw that the cultivator who had just fallen to the ground suddenly jumped up and hugged Yamu tightly. Hee. An endless smile appeared on the cultivator's face. However, Yamu directly pulled the cultivator off their body. Next, Yamu threw the cultivator into the air, and a Qigong wave solved the cultivator. Yamcha smiled and said, "Ahaha. My acting skills are pretty good, aren't they?" Vegeta and Nappa realized they had been tricked and angrily said to the remaining cultivators, "You all go up together." 4 cultivators directly surrounded Yamu. Yamu didn't panic at all, punching all 4 cultivators directly. Chapter 8. Dumpling Bick's Death. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Vegeta said, "Nappa, this person has much higher combat power than the cultivator. You can use all your strength." Upon hearing Vegeta's command, Nappa directly charged towards Yamcha with full firepower. Bang! Yamcha was caught off guard and knocked down to the ground. Yamcha. Are you okay? Klin flashed and appeared in front of Yamcha in an instant. I'm fine, Klin. I was careless just now, and now I'm going to show all my strength. After Yamcha finished speaking, she clenched her fists, burst into a burst of energy, and her combat power skyrocketed. Immediately charged towards Nappa in the air. In the blink of an eye, Nappa and Yamcha had already fought for more than 10 rounds. How could it be? I've already put out all my strength and can't even win a small human. Nappa was a bit surprised. How could there be such powerful people on this small earth? Feeling the explosion of Yamu, Bick's face turned green. My former defeated subordinates have actually surpassed me in strength. Bick turned his head and asked Klin, "How did you practice in the Heavenly God Temple?" Klin explained to Bick. At the beginning, our strength did not improve much. Since Burma built the gravity chamber, we have made great progress in practicing inside. Now, both Tianjin Rice and I are stronger than Yamu in terms of strength. Bang! Yamcha, who was fighting in the air, seized a gap and used the Wolf Fang Wind Fist to knock Nappa away. Knowing that he was not a match for Yamcha, Nappa looked at the other people. Dumplings were stared at fiercely by Nappa, and couldn't help but take a few steps back. Watching the movements of the dumplings, Nappa's face showed a sinister smile. Taking advantage of everyone's unpreparedness, Nappa exploded in anger and rushed towards the dumpling. The dumpling looked panicked, but before it could react, it was grabbed by Nappa with one hand and sent away with a Qigong wave. After solving the dumplings, Nappa looked at Yamcha in the air and said, "I can't solve you. It's still easy to kill your companions." Tianjin Fan shouted loudly, "Dumplings! Dumplings! Dead!" Sun Wufan's face turned pale. The death of the dumpling made everyone's breath burst out. "You bastard! I can't spare you." Tianjin Fan was furious and at the same time, he was about to launch an attack on the Nappa below. Humph! Nappa chuckled lightly. Just returned to Vegeta's side. "Nappa, you did a good job and even solved one." After praising Nappa, Vegeta spoke up to remind her. "Wait a moment, the 2 of us will work together to solve them. The death of that dwarf just now exposed their combat prowess. Nappa, the detector shows that there are 3 people stronger than you." "No way. Vegeta, how could there be so many strong people on Earth?" Nappa looked shocked. Seeing Nappa retreat, everyone flew towards the location of the dumplings. Tianjin Fan hugged the dumpling's body and said, the dumpling has already been resurrected by the Dragon Ball once. It cannot be resurrected again. Tianjin Fan placed the body of the dumplings on the ground, clenched his fist, and I wanted to avenge the dumplings. I can't spare you. Tianjin Fan looked at Naba and gritted his teeth. Dragon Ball. Resurrection. Vegeta recalled the rumors in the universe before and spoke up to Pick, saying. As early as in the universe, it has been heard that the Namek people have special abilities. So, you made the Dragon Ball. What? I'm also a cosmologist. Bick was immediately stunned. After Bick regained his senses, he smiled lightly. Anyway, thank you all the same. I finally figured out my identity. Unfortunately, the Dragon Ball was not made by me, I only know how to fight. Speaking, Bick had already prepared himself for battle. Tianshan Temple. Mr. Bobo said expressionlessly, Heavenly God, I didn't expect you to be an alien. No wonder I look different from others. The Heavenly God sneered. Dragon Balls were created by me a long time ago, and I had a strange feeling at that time, as if I had seen them somewhere before. Perhaps it was something like Dragon Balls made by someone on Namek, and the memories of my ancestors are still in my mind. I think so too. I look completely different from Earthlings. Warfare Zone. Vegeta said arrogantly, if you hand over the method of controlling combat power in the Dragon Ball, maybe I will spare your life. We won't hand over the Dragon Ball to bad people like you. Kling refused the request directly. Vegeta chuckled lightly and said, it seems that you are toasting, not eating, and being punished. Naba, we'll solve them together, and then we'll go to Namek Star to search. As soon as the words fell, Naba and Vegeta exploded, and Vegeta unleashed 18,000 combat power. Several people were frightened by Vegeta's aura. Everyone immediately adjusted their state and prepared for battle. Naba faced Sun Wufan and Bick, while Vegeta fought alone against Klin, Tianjin Fan, and Yamucha. For a moment, energy surged and explosions echoed everywhere. Wow! Sun Wufan kicked out with a fierce kick, directly hitting Naba's big face. Naba flew backwards and plunged into the big mountain behind him. Boom! The mountain collapsed, and Naba was buried inside the rocks. Sun Wufan, this little ghost, is even more powerful than I imagined. Bick showed an incredulous expression. Pop! Naba rose up and quickly returned to the opposite side of Sun Wufan. You little thing, this is the end of the game. Naba was furious. I was actually kicked away by this little thing. I am really ashamed. You go to hell with me. Naba condensed a ball of electricity in his hand and greeted Sun Wufan. Sun Wufan was scared silly. I'm so scared. Sun Wufan stood still, unaware of resistance or escape. Shwa. At this critical moment, Bick hardly hesitated and appeared directly in front of Sun Wufan, extending his arms to block the attacking energy. Sun Wufan froze. Klin and others were also stunned. Is this still the big demon king we know? Boom boom. Accompanied by a earth-shattering roar, Bick forcefully blocked Naba's attack. Uncle Bick. Sun Wufan was so scared that he fell to the ground and cried softly. Wufan. Wufan, run. Bick just finished speaking and spat out a mouthful of blood before falling to the ground with a loud bang. Uncle Bick. Sun Wufan pounced on Bick. Uncle Bick. Why did you save me? Bick said weakly, run. Wufan. Run. Uncle Bick, don't die. Dad is about to arrive, please, don't die. Sun Wufan burst into tears. Naba said indifferently, this idiot has disrupted my order. Anyway, it's all the same, they'll have to die sooner or later. Bick chuckled lightly, what a pity. My majestic Bick Demon King, however, is protecting a child. It's all because of you father and son. Your kindness has influenced me. Wufan, the only person talking to me now is you. I have been very happy with you for a few months. Bick closed his eyes after saying these words. Tianshan Temple. Hoo. Dot. The heavenly god was panting heavily and sweating profusely. The heavenly god. Mr. Bobo was greatly surprised. My life is coming to an end. Wukong, in the end, he still couldn't catch up, sighed the heavenly god. But Bick still surpassed me in the end, I am very pleased. The gods. Mr. Bobo fell silent. Bobo, I'll rely on you here from now on. After the heavenly god finished speaking, his body had become transparent. The next moment, it will disappear directly. Chapter 9. Ling Tian Battle against Vegeta. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Warfare Zone. Wow. Sun Wufan burst into tears. Drop. A new combat power value also appeared on the detector that Vegeta was wearing. Sun Wufan's face was filled with tears, glaring angrily at the murderer across from him. He overlapped his hands and placed them on his head, beginning to gather energy. Magic Flash. Sun Wufan let out a loud shout and blasted the condensed energy towards Naba. 6,700 combat power. The combat power of these guys is indeed unpredictable, so hurry up and avoid Naba, Vegeta said in surprise. Sun Wufan's anger will increase his combat power. What? Combat power 6,700. Naba also looked surprised and quickly dodged as he watched the incoming energy bomb. Bang! The energy bomb changed direction at that time and flew to a distant mountain. Boom! A big explosion broke out on the distant high mountain. The smoke dissipated and the huge mountains were directly destroyed by energy. I didn't expect this little bunny to burst out with such great energy, Naba was scared for a moment. The combat effectiveness has actually decreased, it seems like it's because I just depleted all my energy. Vegeta looked at the combat power values on the detector. Sorry Uncle Bick, I didn't hit the enemy and now I don't even have the strength to escape. Sun Wufan turned his head to look at Bick's corpse and gave a silly smile. Pop. Sun Wufan knelt down on the ground, losing confidence in the battle. Animal. Damn it. Clint gritted his teeth. The situation of Kling and his three opponents against Vegeta was not optimistic, and they were constantly being suppressed and beaten. Yamu T was blasted away, directly inlaid on the stone, leaving only one breath. Tianjin Fan died from dumplings, and his heart was only focused on revenge. He overused his Qigong cannon and directly overdrawn his life. Vegeta urged Naba, hurry up and deal with that little devil. Pop. Naba kicked fiercely and stepped on Sun Wufan. The next moment, Naba found himself stepping on the ground. The earth has been shattered by the earthquake. What is the situation? Where are people? Vegeta was also surprised. I saw a tall and handsome young man in the distance, holding Sun Wufan in his arms. Ling Tian asked, Wufan, are you okay? Uncle Ling Tian, I'm fine. However, Uncle Bick died to protect me. Although Sun Wufan did not continue to cry bitterly, his mood was very low. Ling Tian held Sun Wufan and flew towards Klin. Sorry, I'm late. Ling Tian took out the last 3 fairy beans from his pocket and handed them to Klin. I still have 3 fairy beans here, you guys should eat them first. Let me handle the next battle. Ling Tian burst into anger and rushed towards Naba. The breath that Ling Tian burst out of, Naba had no intention of resisting at all, retreating while shouting. Vegeta, help me. In an instant, Ling Tian arrived in front of Naba, waving his fist and slamming his head off with a single punch. Then, he turned around and looked at Vegeta. Drop. 12620 combat power. Humph. I can handle that kind of trash with just one hand. After mocking that useless person, Vegeta confidently said. You don't think I'm that kind of person, do you? Listen to me, my prince's combat power is 18,000. Ling Tian completely ignored what Vegeta was saying and launched an attack. Da-da-da. Bang. Bang. The collision between fists and feet made a loud noise. In an instant, the two had already engaged in over 100 rounds of combat. Ling Tian retreated one by one, distancing himself from Vegeta and placing his hand on his waist, forming a calyx-like shape, with energy continuously converging in his palm. Vegeta saw Ling Tian condensing his Qigong waves and rising directly into the sky, with energy constantly surging out of her body and converging into her hands. Gue Pai Qigong Wave. Without any hesitation, Ling Tian directly bombarded the condensed Qigong wave towards the Vegeta in the air. Booster Gun. Vegeta let out a roar, and the Qigong wave in her hand also roared towards Ling Tian. Boom. Two streams of energy meet in the air, unleashing a powerful aura. How strong! After eating the fairy beans, Klin and Sun Wufan also saved Yamu tea. Now, a few people are watching this earth-shattering battle on a high mountain. Ah. Ah. Ling Tian and Vegeta are working hard to release their energy. After all, Ling Tian is still a bit weaker, and the difference of 6,000 combat power is not so easy to make up for. The Qigong wave was directly suppressed. Boom. Ling Tian was unable to resist Vegeta's attack, his clothes were tattered, and his whole body was covered in injuries, leaving only one breath. Isn't it good to hide well on Earth? I even came over to die. You go die for me. As Vegeta spoke, she condensed another wave of Qigong and bombarded Ling Tian. Bang! Ling Tian looked up at the rapidly falling Qigong waves in the air, without any fear of death, and even the corners of his mouth were slightly raised. Boom! Ling Tian was directly bombarded by Qigong waves, his flesh and blood flying everywhere, and the smoke dissipated, leaving only a burnt black arm on the ground. Ha ha ha! Vegeta burst out laughing. Ling Tian! Klin shouted. Uncle Ling Tian, surprisingly he also died. Sun Wufan couldn't help but shed tears. If Ling Tian hadn't eaten the fairy beans for us, he wouldn't have died when he fell to the ground just now, Yamucha regretted deeply. A burst of white light flashed by, and Ling Tian was resurrected. Ding! Congratulations on the successful resurrection of the host. Now distribute death rewards. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill Sun Fist. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill Dragon Fist. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill Booster Cannon. Ding! Congratulations to the host for receiving the reward 15,000 combat power. Ding! Congratulations to the host for receiving the reward Immortal Bean *10. System View Personal Properties. Ding! Host Ling Tian. Age 23 years old. Bloodline Earthling Skills Perception of Qi, Dance Technique, Qigong Wave, Turtle Style Qigong Wave, Dragon Fist, Sun Fist, Booster Cannon, Divine Fighting Skills. Combat Power 27,620 Item. Immortal Bean *10. After resurrection, Ling Tian burst out with even more astonishing aura. You! Didn't you just die? Vegeta looked at Ling Tian with a shocked expression on her face, completely confused about what was going on. Ling Tian. Uncle Ling Tian. The Dragon Ball hasn't been used yet, how did it come back to life? The Clints also looked bewildered. Ling Tian smiled and said, Vegeta, it hurt a lot when you hit me just now. Now I'll let you try it too. Ling Tian flashed and instantly arrived in front of Vegeta. How could it be possible? Watching Ling Tian's explosive speed, Vegeta couldn't believe it at all. Vegeta was punched in the stomach by Ling Tian, her body arched into a shrimp shape, and she flew backwards. Before Vegeta could land, Ling Tian flashed and kicked it into the air. Ah! 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 Vegeta let out a painful wail. After a minute-long beating, Vegeta fell from the air to the ground. At this moment, Vegeta's clothes were in tatters and covered in blood. Damn! Really damn it! Vegeta gritted her teeth. This is not a solution. That guy's strength has already surpassed mine, so we can only use that move. Although it will consume some energy, it can only be done in this way. After thinking for a moment, Vegeta slowly condensed an energy ball in her palm. The energy ball grew larger and larger, and at the same time, Vegeta's breath was also being consumed violently. Who? Vegeta gasped for breath. Whoosh! Vegeta will condense the energy and throw it into the air, causing the energy ball to emit a dazzling light in the air. Ah! What is he doing? Klin and others put their arms in front of them, looking puzzled. The light dissipated and a full moon appeared in the sky. Vegeta turned into a black giant ape that was over 10 meters tall. Roar. The end of your life has come, laughed Giganto Vegeta. The giant ape Vegeta swung her huge fist and threw it at Ling Tian. Ling Tian didn't hesitate at all, he just waved his fist and rushed forward. Bang! 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 Ling Tian's repeated attacks did not have a good effect. Instead, one after another, they were knocked away by the giant ape Vegeta. Chapter 10. Sun Wukong vs Vegeta. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Ling Tian was directly hit by a punch from the giant ape Vegeta, hitting the ground heavily. The giant ape Vegeta stepped down upon seeing this. A deep pit appeared again on the ground, and Ling Tian was completely embedded in the ground. Giant ape Vegeta opened her mouth wide and condensed an energy in her mouth, wanting to strike and end Ling Tian. Bang! 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 Sun Wukong looked at the full moon in the sky, his heart rate rapidly increasing, and his body slowly getting bigger. Roar. In the distance, another giant ape of the same style as Vegeta appeared. Sun Wukong, who transformed into a giant ape, attacked Kellen and Yamu without distinguishing between us and the enemy. Klin dodged and said, Wukong, Vegeta is over there. Go and hit him quickly. I don't know if it's due to the influence of consciousness. Monkey Sun Wukong did not attack Klin or Yamcha anymore, but turned around and walked towards Vegeta. And constantly firing energy cannons from the mouth. The giant ape Vegeta was interrupted from attacking Ling Tian and angrily punched her chest. In the blink of an eye, the fist of Monkey Sun Wukong had already struck, and the two monkeys fought back and forth like this. Bang. The ground was trampled into deep pits, and two giant apes punched each other to the flesh, engaging in the most primitive way of fighting. Ling Tian ate a fairy bean, and just as he recovered from his injury, Yamu and Klin flew over. Yamu told Klin that as long as he cut off his tail, the giant ape could return to its original state. Klin came over to discuss a plan. Bang! Bang! You stinky little devil! Vegeta kicked Sun Wukong, a giant ape covered in injuries, and with his mouth wide open, he condensed energy and bombarded him. Boom! Sun Wukong was hit by energy cannons and fell to the ground, losing his combat ability. Ling Tian and others had just discussed their plan when Sun Wukong rushed over on the somersault cloud. Wukong, you have finally arrived. Klin looked excited. Sun Wukong asked, Klin, where are the Saiyan people? Where have the others gone? Klin said wrongly, Wukong, everyone else has been killed by the Saiyan people. Wukong, he still lost his combat ability over there. That giant ape over there is a Saiyan, he has transformed. Okay, I know Clin. Then let me handle the next battle. Sun Wukong was burning with anger. He only arrived one step late, and Bick, Tianjin rice, and dumplings had already been killed. Even if Bick died, the heavenly god would disappear with him. Clin and Yamcha reminded, Wukong, you must be careful. Go ahead. Ling Tian and Sun Wukong nodded and smiled. Wukong, let me see your cultivation achievements this year. Kakarot, you have finally arrived. The giant ape Vegeta looked at this subordinate warrior with an inexplicable sense of familiarity. Drink. Sun Wukong gritted his teeth, emitting a red aura and unleashing the King of the Realm's fist. Sun Wukong raised his hand with a fierce force, and a powerful energy bombarded Vegeta, who had transformed into a giant ape. Vegeta, who transformed into a giant ape, did not slow down at all due to her large body, and her huge palm flapped energy bombs. Shoo! Sun Wukong quickly climbed up and headed straight for the location of the giant ape, Vegeta. Bang! Sun Wukong punched the giant ape Vegeta heavily in the face. Unexpectedly, it did not cause any harm at all. Carrot, are you tickling Prince Ben? As the giant ape Vegeta spoke, he launched a fierce attack on Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong found it difficult to resist the attack of the giant ape Vegeta, but he didn't pay attention. Bang! Sun Wukong was hit by the giant ape Vegeta and spat out a mouthful of blood. Sun Wukong was even more excited when he saw the great ape Vegeta so powerful, so he took out a fairy bean and ate it. The last two given by the Kalen fairy. Double the World King Fist. The giant ape Vegeta condensed an energy cannon in its mouth and bombarded Sun Wukong. Shwa! Sun Wukong struggled to dodge the attack of the energy cannon. Humph! Not bad. You escaped quite quickly, mocked the giant ape Vegeta, who? Damn it! His strength, speed, and speed are both. He can't even match his double World King Fist. Sun Wukong was panting heavily, constantly searching for solutions in his mind. Whoosh! Duh! Wukong murmured to the ground, even if I were to break myself to pieces, I must use the Triple Realm King Fist. Okay, hiss. As Sun Wukong spoke, he tore off his shirt. Now, in this situation, we can't win at all, we have to work hard. Sun Wukong said as he put the last fairy bean into his mouth and bit it. Take the move. Triple Realm King Fist. The Northern Realm King is on the planet Jiwang, observing everything that happens on Earth. No way. Wukong, you can't bear it like this. I never expected my opponent to be so strong. This duel may be lost. The aura has increased again. How could a lower-level warrior possibly surpass me, the Prince of the Saiyan? The giant ape Vegeta let out a roar, and her breath gradually increased. Sun Wukong placed his hand on his waist to form a calyx shape, condensing a wave of turtle-style qigong, intending to use one move to determine the winner. The giant ape Vegeta saw this and was also in his mouth, condensing the energy cannon. Gui Pai Qigong Wave. As Sun Wukong spoke, he pushed his calyx hand forward. The giant ape Vegeta also spewed out an energy cannon from its mouth. Two streams of energy collided in mid-air, unleashing an astonishing aura. Kakarot, now let's see if you can block my attack, said Giganto Vegeta with a smile, ya. Sun Wukong shouted loudly. The louder the Dragon Ball shouts, the stronger it becomes. The energy in the air remained stagnant, gradually pressing towards Sun Wukong. Fourfold World King Fist. Fivefold World King Fist. It's blocked back. Gigantopith Vegeta looked shocked. Just as the Qigong wave was about to hit, the giant ape Vegeta quickly dodged. Ha! Dot. Sun Wukong suffered from severe pain all over due to excessive use of Jiawang fist. He collapsed to the ground and struggled to swallow the immortal bean in his mouth. His injuries healed instantly. The last 2 fairy beans were also eaten. Boom! There was a loud bang in the air, emitting thick smoke. Despite avoiding the fatal attack, the giant ape Vegeta was still covered in injuries. How could it be possible? Cockroach, how could this lower-level warrior's combat power surpass mine? Bastard. Dot. Impossible. I am a Saiyan, I am the strongest warrior in the universe. The giant ape Vegeta refused to believe this fact at all. In the blink of an eye, the giant ape Vegeta launched another attack on Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong unleashed his Triple Realm King Fist and engaged in battle. Bang! 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 You go to hell with me. Giant ape Vegeta swung his fist and fiercely hit Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong flew backwards, quickly stabilizing his figure in the air, placing his hand on his head, and performing the unique skill of Tianjin Rice. Sun Fist. The giant ape Vegeta, who was chasing, was blinded directly. What kind of ghost is this? My eyes, said Mega Ape Vegeta in pain, covering her eyes. Sun Wukong seized this opportunity and quickly launched an attack, punching to the flesh. Bang. Giant ape Vegeta's eyes briefly went blind and he couldn't see where Sun Wukong was, so he could only punch recklessly and passively get beaten. Upon seeing this, Sun Wukong kicked the giant ape Vegeta into the air and once again placed his hand on his waist to gather energy. Gui Pai Qigong Wave. The giant ape Vegeta, who is no longer blind, watches as the incoming Qigong wave blocks with both hands. Suddenly, the body of the giant ape Vegeta was slowly shrinking. What's going on? Vegeta looked up at the place where the artificial moon was launched and found that the moon had already disappeared. Damn it! It's been too long, the energy has disappeared. I'm not willing to be dragged on by their will-to-will battles for too long. Vegeta was furious. Not being a giant ape, Vegeta is completely unable to withstand Sun Wukong's attack with the World King Fist. Bang! There was a loud bang in the air, and Vegeta fell from the sky. With a loud bang, a deep pit was created, and the body could not move, completely losing its combat ability. Damn it! Damn it! Vegeta roared. As the battle ended, Ling Tian flew over with Sun Wufan, Kellen, and Yamcha. Wukong, you're so amazing. You've solved all the Saiyan people, Klin said with a look of admiration. Yamcha smiled and said, Wukong, I didn't expect you to make such great progress after practicing for a year. The system checks Sun Wukong's combat effectiveness. Ding! Sun Wukong. 24794 combat power, near death in battle with Vegeta, ate 2 fairy beans. Bloodline. Saiyan.